Coast FM 963. You're once again on Roar and More. Angus Hamel with you as always on Monday the 24th of March 2025. And I'm being joined in the studio by a lovely group of boys right in front of me. As always, we have Steve Wheatley in front of the mic. How are you going today, Stefan?
I'm good, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Also, Brando Macmillan is here.
Yeah, that's right, everyone. I'm back.
Welcome back, sir. James O'Brien, you're also with us once again. How are you?
True. A fair bit of people here.
I know, it's a bit of a party in the studio. I guess you could say it's a welcome home party because guess who's back in the hot seat, fresh off the boat or plane from the Cook Islands? Finn O'Brien's here.
Finn's back.
Welcome back,
Good
buddy.
to be back. Thanks for having us, dude. Good to be back.
No worries, man. How was your trip?
Pretty good. Pretty decent. It was, just a lot of snorkeling, turtles, and giant, massive trevally. Chilling by the beach. Yeah,
I'm very quite jealous, Finn, because of your time off. You look like you've got a nice bit of tan from doing a bit of. Did you do a bit of sunbaking on the island there?
Yeah, I think so. I think the arms have definitely gotten a bit of a mocha tinge to them.
Mocha tinge.
Trying to rip off my look, mate.
It looks like Brandon's got some competition here.
I was going to say, you don't go to the Pacific Islands and expect to not be cooked on the island by the sun. But
Exactly.
But you look good though, mate. You look good.
I was going to say, yeah, he's the most tanned in the office since Brando Macmillan. So that got me thinking, guys.
He's having that look on his face.
Yeah, well, I know Brando's got some. I was going to put it to a vote for anyone listening in right now. Brando Macmillan has always been known for being anti-Scottish due to the fact that he's actually got a bit of a tan on him. What do you guys reckon? Is Finn the more tanned one in the office, or is it Brando, or is there a dark horse? Do you reckon, guys?
Well, I sort of asked Finn when I came in. I said, "Is that from your time away, or is that fake?" But when he said to me, "No, it's real," I did do a bit of time in the sun while I was away. So I think maybe Brando still got a bit of the edge over him. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably say the same too, actually. Like, Brandon looks like he's experienced in the sun.
Yeah, get used to second place, Finn. I'll have to agree.
Do you have any tanning tips for us, Brando, to get the Brando complexion?
Always be outside, always forget sunscreen, always wear t-shirts and shorts.
None of this slip, slop, slap rubbish.
Get the coast look.
And now, before we move on, here's a CSA from Sunsafe. No, I'm kidding. Well, it is good to have you back, Finn, and it's great to have the gang all back together. We started off right there with Islands in the Stream, or Islands in the Pacific on Finn's case right there. Classic duet there by Dolly Parton and, of course, Kenny Rogers. And we're starting off with a tune you might recognise from a DreamWorks movie known as Madagascar Escape to Africa. A tune by will.i.am all about travelling. It's called Alex on the Spot. Yeah, indeed. Coast FM 963. You're on Roar and More. Angus Hamel with a bunch of fantastic guests in the studio right now. We got a bunch of travelling themed tunes on the show this evening to kind of celebrate the return of our good friend Finn O'Brien from the Cook Islands very recently. Actually, Finn, when did you fly back in from the Cook Islands?
That was just this Saturday, so very recently.
Saturday. Any jet lag? Is there a big difference in the time zones?
3-hour difference, so a little bit, yeah, but I've been getting up at 5 or 6 and getting to sleep at about 9 or 10.
Are you still experiencing that now because you're a bit tired at the moment?
Yes, I sound a bit lethargic. If I sound a bit lethargic, that's all it is. Nothing more than that.
Well, you've done well to make the effort to not just be on Raw and More with us tonight, but your very first interview on Raw as well went to air tonight as well. Congratulations to Finn on that. Chatting with Lockie. Yes. How do you reckon that went?
Yeah, pretty decent. Yeah, it was quite an eye-opener chatting with somebody from the Federal Police, somebody who is a cybersecurity almost agent, a lab technician. Pretty decent, yeah.
Yeah, the cybersecurity stuff. So he's a good guy to have on your side, but a bad person to get on the wrong side of. Anyone here concerned about anything on their phones or computers that he might, look?
Blue bogging.
I know.
Nah, he's a nice guy, right?
Yeah, no, he'll be sweet.
Yeah, it seemed all right.
I think the only thing might be investigating Brando's computer. There's a heap of Parramatta Eels matches downloaded on there illegally. Sorry, Steve, what were you going to say, Steve? No, he was going to make a joke, but he pulled out.
Yeah, because he knows my family listens to this show.
Oh, don't worry. I'll have plenty to say later.
Oh,
Give me a
yes,
PG.
indeed, when Steve's good vibe comes up. But coming up now, we're going to be hearing Brando's good vibe of the night. And Brando, give us a little bit of a teaser. What might you have on the airwaves for us?
Oh, a bit of a country classic. That's pretty much all I would say there.
Oh, man, you're going to keep the coasties sticking around. That's coming up right after this. And now it's time for a segment that makes you feel like you're on holidays. It's Brando's good vibe of the night. Oh, Brando, that was beautiful. It's Brando's good vibe of the night, the segment where Brando dives deep into his own personal playlist, pulls out a song that he thinks has immaculate vibes, slaps them out there on the Coast FM airways, and hopes that you, yes, you, listening at home right now, enjoy it as much as he does. Brando, on our islandy, road trippy, travel-y themed show tonight, what have you got for us?
I have chosen Take Me Home, Country Road by John Denver. And the reason I picked that one was sometime last year, I went to see my mate who currently lives with his partner and her family. And then where he lives, he has a bunch of guitars and drums and all that stuff. So we played a couple songs we knew sing. One of them was Country Road.
Aww.
And his partner's dad came downstairs because he heard the music and all that stuff. And he's like, well, you boys sing? He's like, yeah. And he asked, has anyone told you boys that you have great singing voices? I was like, oh, no. Well, boys, let me be the first to say that there's a reason for that.
Brutal. Man, no one humbles you quicker than your best friend's dad, am I right? My goodness. Hey, you know what? I bet you there's heaps of Raw listeners out there right now being like, hang on a minute, isn't Brando the Raw jingle guy? He's got a great voice.
Thanks, Mum.
Well, on that note, Brando, without further ado, here is your good vibe of the night. Bit of a coming home special for Finn, I suppose, as well. John Denver with Take Me Home, Country Roads. Yeah, Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More, and that right there was Brando's good vibe of the night, which was, of course,
Take Me Home, Country Road by John Denver.
Beautifully done. And I reckon that's such a country classic, but it's also a karaoke classic, I reckon. Has anyone here actually sung that at karaoke before?
I never go to karaoke, so boys.
I think I may have done that once or maybe once. I can't remember.
I hear it once in a blue moon. Some rando will just be singing it.
Yeah, if it's not that, it's Sweet Caroline, hey, James?
Yeah, true.
I think I've done it a few times. It's a bit of a crowd pleaser. Finn,
Both bangers.
Have you pulled them out? Either of those ones?
I haven't, but I think they're both bangers. Yeah, big fan, especially Country Roads. Yeah,
Oh,
great meme. Great
Call up right
song.
now if you want to hear Angus sing that next karaoke night.
And then the phone line goes completely dead. But you will sing me. You will actually, funnily enough, hear me sing right now.
Two songs, they sound exactly alike. Yes, these are two songs, and they are sound-alikes.
Yes, it's Sound-Alikes, the first quiz segment on the Raw and More show this evening. Now, I've divided these guys into two, I guess you could say, partnerships, but they're not partners. They're competing against each other. First up, we have Finn versus James, the battle of the O'Briens.
Get it, baby.
Let's do it.
Hey. So basically, the Sound-Alike segment is the segment where I give you two songs that fall into a certain category. One's the original, one samples the other. But the question that I'm posing to these two sleuths is, did the sampled song do it in a legal way, or did they rip them off? Did they get in trouble for it? That sort of thing. Illegal or legal is the question I'll be posing these two boys. Now, James, I think you did pretty well at this last time we played it. You got it right?
Yeah, true. I was a guest too.
Well, there you go. So, Finn, are you happy with your opponent, or are you a bit nervous about going up against James in this?
Bit nervous, but come around eventually. You know.
That's
Fingers
it.
crossed.
It's 50-50 at the end of the day, I suppose, just like
Very
a coin flip. So, without further ado, guys, here is the original of the two songs right now. It's a bit of Steve Winwood and his 1982 hit single, Valerie. Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More. We are in the midst of a segment called Soundalikes right now, where I pit two of my good friends across from me against each other. And on this occasion, it's the battle of the O'Briens, Finn versus James in Soundalikes. I just gave you two songs, one original, one that sampled the original. It's up to these sleuths in front of me to figure out if the sample was done legally or illegally. The songs in question were Valerie by Steve Winwood, which was released back in 1982, and that song you just heard by Swedish DJ and music producer Eric Prydz, Call on Me, was released in 2004. Now, boys, what do you reckon of those two songs? Very similar, very kind of, same sort of thing, big sample. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking legal.
Legal? What makes you say that?
A bit of a hunch, a bit of a lucky guess too. Yeah, I would imagine someone is like both big songs. I reckon the 2004 version would have like asked for permission.
Yeah,
You'd
nice.
think that.
I get you, yeah, with the production on it. How about you, Finn?
I'm going to have to go with James on this one, actually.
Hang on, you're supposed to be competing against each other. What the heck's happening here? No, that's
It's
fine.
a reunion. It's a reunion.
Reunion special. No, that's
For
fine.
once in a... Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's completely fine. I like that.
Agreed.
Well, I can say, for the record, you guys are both 100% correct. Yes.
All right.
It was a legal sample.
Hang on. High five.
Not only was it... Okay, well, how's this for a tiebreaker? You both got that right, but one of you has to go up against Steve and Brando for our Hottest 100 challenge later on in the show. So how's this for a tiebreaker? True or false? Not only was the sample legal, but Steve Winwood, the original singer of the track, actually ended up re-recording his vocals for the remix.
Ooh, I would say false.
I think it's true. Sounded pretty confident.
Finn, you're correct. It's true.
All
Would you
right.
believe
Good
that?
job.
Alrighty.
Tiebreaker.
Okay.
Dusted.
It was your conviction.
Oh, damn, really? My bad. I've got a bad poker face. Well, yes, Prydz sampled it and presented his track to Steve Winwood to get his permission to release it completely. But apparently Winwood was so impressed that he actually came into the studio and re-recorded his sampled vocals.
Wow.
Which was, the song was released 20 years after the original recording, which is crazy because it does not sound different at all. So props to Steve Winwood for being an amazing singer. Anyways, coming up, we're going to be hearing another edition of the Good Vibe of the Night. And Steve, I'm very pleased to be sharing this with you tonight because of something quite exciting that happened yesterday.
We are sharing the good vibe of the night. So I guess you could say it's Angus's and Steve good vibe of the night.
We'll see how we'll have to work that in right after this. And now it's time for a celebratory winner chicken dinner segment that we like to call Steve and Angus's
good vibe of the night. Yeah, those good vibes.
Oh, there's no good vibe better than winning, is there? And on tonight's Good Vibe of the Night, because I feel like such a winner in the studio, we're going to dive deep into my own personal playlist, but also Steve's, and find a song that we have in common with each other, with both loving, especially after a win, and just throwing it out on the airwaves and hoping that you enjoy it as much as we do. Steve Wheatley, we are both very happy individuals in the studio right now, and can you tell the listeners why?
Well, we certainly are, Brando.
That's right, Brando is me.
we certainly are, Angus, my friend, because we are celebrating how, and you were there for this also too yesterday, might I add, how the mighty Manly Sea Eagles got another amazing, fantastic win yesterday, which they were, some people say they were favourites to win, but we like to be quiet achievers, don't we?
Well, that's it, because the Raiders, they've had such a great start to the season. They smashed the Waz in Vegas. They beat the Broncos, who were looking unstoppable last week. Then they came to Fortress Brookie, and they went back to Canberra with their tails between their legs. Eh, Steve?
They have indeed. But it's funny because of what we've picked for our good vibe of the night too. Now, call in, listeners, if you do agree with this. I know you said before that you have it as part of your top songs on your Spotify list. I know I certainly do. I would dare say that a lot of people have this as a song for whenever they're doing a road trip. Would you all agree, lads?
I reckon so, and especially if I'm going on a road trip to Brookvale Oval, when I'm listening to this one before and after the games, and sometimes during as well on the loudspeakers.
Even on the trip back down the M1 to Gosford?
Of course, it's on repeat, especially after a win late last night when we beat the Raiders 40-12. Well, without further ado, this right here is my good vibe of the night, jointly with my fellow eagle-eyed Seagull supporter Stefan Wheatley. It's Daddy Cool with his 1971 hit single, Eagle Rock. And for the boys in the room that support other teams, Brando, this is what winning feels like, my man.
Dude, my parents listen to this.
Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More, and that right there was myself and Stefan Wheatley's good vibe of the night, which of course was, Steve?
Ross Wilson and Daddy Cool's Eagle Rock. We chose that especially as our good vibe of the night to celebrate the amazing win by Manly over the Canberra Raiders yesterday. And just a bit of a funny side note on that, Angus, I'll actually be in the home of the Raiders over the weekend.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're going there to play all abilities rugby, aren't you, this weekend?
I am. So if you want to come see me, any Raw and More listeners down there in Canberra, I'll be out the front of GIO Stadium on 4 o'clock Saturday, hanging a Manly flag out the front.
Love that. And as you should, after a victory like that on last night at Brookvale Oval, I actually got the chance to go down to Brookvale Oval and see it live with my beautiful friend Jen from Jensville. It was her first time going to the footy, and what a way to start. She left with a Manly scarf, so I think the boys converted her. But that song you just heard, which was the Ryans, Northern Beaches based band the Ryans, with their 2023 hit single Scary Movies. There's a reason why I played that, and that's because I got the chance to see them perform here on the coast at Erina on Saturday night. Ooh. And then last night I bumped into the lead singer Noah at Brookvale Oval wearing Manly gear.
It's meant to be.
Yeah, it's meant to be.
It was meant to be. I said to him, great show last night, man, and great win tonight. It does not get better than that. And there you go. I just had to acknowledge that and play that song right there, because what are the odds, eh?
We mentioned that song. Name of that song is Scary Movie. I'll tell you what is probably a scary movie. Probably being in that locker room with Ricky at halftime.
Oh, I bet. And then it would not have been much better at full time either, hey, Steve? Now, speaking of halftime, we have just about reached the halftime point of our show. And what we like to do here is bring back another quiz segment. Now, Finn, you won the first quiz of the night against James. Congratulations on that, the Sound Alike segment. And you're getting the opportunity right now to take on these boys, Brando and Steve, the old firm, the old rivalry in this challenge for the Hottest 100 honours. Now, out the back, I got you guys to give me all sorts of different years. We kind of did a coin flipping system to decide that the year we're looking at tonight is 2020. So I'll be playing for you 3 songs that charted in the top 10 of the Hottest 100 of 2020. And it's up to you boys, when we come back, to tell me which song charted the highest. Do you guys remember 2020, 5 years ago, what was popular? Any good idea? How confident are you going into this, Brando?
Oh, I'm pretty confident. I'm going to pick the right answer, please.
Okay. Well, we'll find out what that is very shortly. But first, we are starting things off right now with a beautiful piece of Australian indie rock. Straight out of Fremantle and about to release a brand new album and go on tour 5 years after this one. It's West Coast rockers Spacey Jane with their hit single, Booster Seats. Coast FM 963, you're on the second hour of Raw and More. Myself, Angus Hamill, and a bunch of the Rawsome behind the scenes team as well. We just had a nice, safe passage across the 8 o'clock threshold. Did you guys enjoy your passage over the 8 o'clock threshold?
Very nice, very comfortable.
Very much so.
All right.
I thought so. That's great. It was a bit of a party in here because we're having a bit of a quiz right now between Finn, Steve, and Brando. Basically, I just gave you 3 songs back to back to back right there that all charted in the top 10 of the 2020 Hottest 100. That takes me back. What do you guys remember the most about 2020?
COVID, yes.
Steve was supposed to say that, James.
Oh, no.
Well, no. I mean, you asked Brando before the break what were some of the most popular things. He mentioned about 2020, was it? And I actually was going to say that I think one of my most popular things that I remember about 2020 was lockdown.
Yeah, it was a good time, wasn't it, Brando?
I mean, like, guys, I knew it was pretty bad, but let's be real. Finding a parking spot was brilliant, right?
That was.
Plenty available.
And if you had shares in companies to do with making masks and hand sanitizer, you would be skyrocketing in wealth.
There was no complaints about the traffic as well.
People at Sorbin and Cuddly were having a ball.
I know, right?
Yes.
Toilet paper companies were going up.
Oh, yeah, the toilet paper was
Shelves
flying
were
off the
empty.
shelves, yeah. And songs like those three were being released. At the top, we heard from West Coast indie rockers Spacey Jane with Booster Seat. In the middle, we heard Mashton Kutcher and their remix of a speech made by Victorian Premier Dan Andrews called Get On The Beers. And that song you just heard was English pop rock group Glass Animals with Heat Waves. The question I pose to you boys right now is, which song charted the highest?
I think it was Heat Waves.
All right, Brando, what makes you say that?
I remember that being popular back in the day with all the radio stations playing and all that stuff. As much as I would love to say get on the beers, but
In the spirit of winning, I like that. I like that. How about you, Stefan?
Well, you know, I would absolutely have no clue. But just like Brando, just for the sake of it, I'm just going to say it's going to be Get On The Beers. I
reckon.
can't see how something that was viral like that, didn't, make it into the top 5 at least.
You know what's great about that song? It's such a sign of the times that it probably wouldn't have been popular if it happened any other year or as popular. How about you, Finn? What are you picking out of those three?
I'm going to have to agree with Steve-O, to be honest. It was that popular, just all the virality and the seeing all the reels on Instagram and Facebook. I'm going to have to go with that. So, bang.
Well. Who's going to get on the beers? Without further ado...
I know I'm not in the competition, but I would go with Heat Waves.
Okay, so you're siding with Brando.
There we go.
Well, I will reveal right now the song that charted the lowest was... Get On The Beers. It actually came in the lowest. It was the lowest. It came in at number 9. But that's still not bad for a comedic song. That was followed by, well, I don't know. Since you guys both picked that, is Brando right or is he wrong? The one that charted the highest on the Hottest 100 of 2020 was actually Heat Waves.
yeah.
It was Heat Waves.
Yeah. Go this team.
And then second place was Spacey Jane with Booster Seat, which any other year I reckon that song would have won. A great bit of Aussie indie rock. And Brando, how are you feeling about that?
Let's get on the beers.
Well, while Brando celebrates and gets on the beards,
And now it's time for the local list. Brought to you by Home Brewed.
well, we'll play a couple of local tunes while Brando celebrates by getting on the beers. It's the local list where the Homebrewed boys, Cameron Smith and Eamon Snow, send me a fantastic new release by a local artist every single week. This week's edition comes to you via Cameron Smith. He brings us a song by a Wadalba-based artist by the name of Phoebe Joy. She released her debut EP a couple of weeks ago on the 1st of March, closely followed by a successful EP launch concert on the same night. She's just released this brand new single last week that comes along with the EP. It's called Double Down. It's the most raw and honest song she's written to date, and more vulnerability could be on the menu for further tracks down the line. Phoebe told Homebrewed that Double Down was only recorded a few months ago, but she felt like it was a nice way to end the EP and start off our local list this evening. Here's Phoebe Joy with Double Down. One of the most legendary guest appearances in recent years right there. Northern Beach-based rockers Lime Cordiale with their 2022 hit single Colin, featuring guest vocals at the end there by the lead singer of Men at Work, Colin Hay. But before that, we had our pick for the local list tonight, Phoebe Joy with her brand new single Double Down. If you'd like to keep up with her music journey and maybe some tours, some shows that she might be playing, you can follow her on Instagram at Phoebe Joy Music. Now, coming up, we're going to be hearing James O'Brien's Good Vibe of the Night. And Jamesy, can you give us a little teaser of what we can expect?
Yeah, it's a teaser because one, it's probably Newcastle Nice theme song, but the second one is me, Angus and Brandon, probably a year ago, saw one of the founding members of the Screaming Jets, Grant Wamsley.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this absolute banger that's coming up right after this, straight after a song named after by a band named after James as well. Aussie indie new rave right there on Coast FM 963 and Roar and More, 1981 top 10 hit single They Won't Let My Girlfriend Talk to Me by an Aussie indie new wave band named after us. They're called Jimmy and the Boys. Hey, that's going to be what James's show is going to be called when he takes over the hosting duties, isn't that right, James?
Pretty much Jimmy with the boys.
Hell yeah, that's what I think when we come in here all together. And, well, Jamesy, it is all about you right now because it's time for Jimmy to get rid of the boys and take the world on by himself.
Jimmy's good vibe of the night.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's Jimmy's Good Vibe of the Night, the segment where he brings a song to the forefront that he thinks is very nice, great success. Jamesy, what have you chosen for us tonight?
So I've picked Better by the Screaming Jets, and it was pretty much a last minute change as well, but I felt like it's a pretty good song. It's pretty much like you want to elevate, but like you always have people talking you down, but you use that as motivation, you just keep going.
I love that. It's a very high energy, very high motivational song, and about a year, I think it has been a year,
I was
Brando.
about to say, fun fact, we actually met him last year.
Grant Wamsley.
Yeah, Grant Wamsley, the co-founder of the Screaming Jets, writer of this song and lead guitarist. And Brando, as a musician, you had a very proud moment when we visited the Vibe and we got to see Grant's guitar.
Oh, yes, I even got to hold it. It's on the social medias and everything, right?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so. You'll find it on Coast FM 963 somewhere. Well, without further ado, James O'Brien, this is your featured Good Vibe of the Night, which is, of course,
Better.
by
The Screaming Jets.
Go to Nights.
Yeah, nice.
Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More, and that right there was James O'Brien's Good Vibe of the Night, which was, of course...
Better by the Screaming Jets.
And you got a couple of fun facts in front of you about the year that song was released.
Oh, yeah. It was the same year, did you know? It's in the same year that the FIFA World Cup began in Italy, which that's not the fun fact. The fun fact that it was the first broadcast of the digital HD TV in history.
Wow, back in 1990.
Yeah,
And,
June 8th to be specific.
and wow, how many times have we been able to watch in high definition since then the Parramatta Eels losing games?
My grandparents listen to this too.
And I think probably the answer to that question, Angus, is, well, this is too many times to count.
Is this still your year?
I was going to say we're going to see it happen one more time on Sunday, aren't we, Steve?
Well, I think it's very ironic that we started with having like Manly song to Newcastle song. So, but yes, the rivalry will continue on Sunday, Brando.
Indeed. Brando, how do you feel about taking Manly on at Brookvale Oval on Sunday?
I think we'll be pretty good, hey?
Oh, yeah, you guys will smash it 100%. Well, thanks very much for that, James. Absolute banger, that tune right there. And, of course, marking a year since we visited the Vibe and found out that the co-founder of the Screaming Jets, Grant Wamsley, is the man that runs the show there. So
I actually liked how casual he was while he actually announced it. And we were like, wait, what?
yeah, we were all like, hang on a minute. Well, hang on a minute. What? You were in which band? That one? With that song? What the heck? Well, speaking of songs, it's time for...
Two songs with one title, completely different, except for the fact that they share the same words in the title. That's what this segment is for.
Yes, it's about as simple as it sounds. I give you two songs that have absolutely nothing in common. One could be a guy, one could be a girl, one could be a band, one could be a solo artist, different eras of music, but the one thing they happen to have in common is they just so happen to have the exact same title. Now, tonight, I'm making it very easy for you guys to play along at home. Both of these songs are pretty well known in their respective genres, but I wanted to put it out there as a bit of a celebration from our boy Finn being a bit of a travelling man recently. So we're going back to the overarching travelling theme of the show with this one. And with song number one, well, it's going to get quite hot. Ladies and gentlemen, the least repetitive Daft Punk song, Coast FM 963. Here on Raw and More, Ango, Finno, Steve-O, Brando and James. O'Brien.
And I have a question.
Yes.
What's the tiebreakers? Obviously, we know the title of these songs.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're sure.
I've got a bit of an idea.
Well, for those that don't know, which I'm sure is everyone, this is two songs, one title. The segment where I give you two songs that are nothing alike, but they happen to have the exact same title. I'd like to make it a game for you to play along at home and see if you can guess what the title of those two songs is. Brando, you seem pretty confident. What is the title of those two songs?
All right, everyone, say it with me. Around the world. Around the world.
Yeah, you're going to have to repeat it a few more times than that. Yeah, of course, it was Around the World, in tribute of Finn Smith O'Brien's travels to the Cook Islands. At the top, we heard from one of Brando's favourite bands, Red Hot Chili Peppers, with a single from their 1999 album, Californication. And you just heard Daft Punk, which is a song that has been scientifically proven by AI analysis to be the most repetitive song of all time.
Oh, wow.
I'll give you guys a guesstimate. Closest wins. How many times do you think the words around the world are repeated in that song?
Ooh, that's a good one, actually.
I'm going to go for an even number and I'll say 10.
10?
I'm probably going to
At
go
least.
high. I'm going to say 40.
85.
I'm going to go for 30.
In that song, Around the World by Daft Punk, the phrase around the world is repeated 144 times.
Yeah, fair enough.
Making it one of the greatest karaoke songs to pull out. Hey, Steve.
Well, I think that's the kind of song you would sing at Karaoke Night, mate, because you don't need to know the rest of the songs. You only need to know the chorus.
That's
It's up
right.
there with Tequila.
And you don't have to be
Easy
good
to
at singing either.
Around the world, around the world.
As long as you sound kind of robotic with your delivery, you've nailed it. So there you go.
So what is the real tiebreaker, Angus?
So what did you come up with, Brando?
The first letter who in this room wins.
Oh, like as in our first initials.
Yes.
So Angus wins. Yay!
Oh, wait, I didn't know about that. Wait.
Well, actually, coming up, we're going to be hearing Finn's Good Vibe of the Night, and you do have an A in the song name, so
Yes, indeed.
you're going to join the elitism party right after this. And as if the vibes weren't good enough as it is, straight out of the Cook Islands, we have...
Finn's
This is Good
good vibe of the night. Voice crack. Sorry. Whoops.
Easily the greatest rendition of that jingle we've ever heard. Saving the best for last, it's Finn's Good Vibe of the Night, the segment where he dives deep into his own personal playlist and pulls out a song that he wants you to enjoy on the airwaves. Now, Finn, what have you chosen on the show tonight?
Stupid American Idiot, which isn't uncommon, but
I don't think our American
90s.
listeners would appreciate you then calling them stupid.
We're just taking the gig of...
It's the middle of the morning over there. They're all
friendly
asleep.
banter.
this is attested to. Has been demonstrated very recently, and I don't think it's untrue. But yeah, a bit of a 90s vibe, bit of Green Day. Thought that would go down well.
Yeah, well, it's an album that's old enough to drink in America now, funnily enough, which is great. So here is the title track of Green Day's album, American Idiot. Oh, crap. I'm an idiot. I forgot the name of it. Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More. That right there was Finn's Good Vibe of the Night, which was, of course,
American Idiot
by...
Green Day.
I think we've all had a Green Day at some point, and with that beautiful pick, it's the end of Raw and More for this evening. I do hope you've enjoyed tonight's kind of somewhat of a travel show and Finn's review of the Cook Islands. Finn, now that you're home, what have you got on for the rest of the week?
Oh, catching up from jet lag, I'd say. And,
Sleeping heaps.
sleeping it off. Yes, indeed.
That's the way. How about you, Steve?
Well, actually, I was going to say, so where have we travelled so far in our bit of a travel episode tonight?
Well, America just then, so thank goodness we're back home in Australia. And
I think we've probably been to a few places so far. We've been to America, we've been to Newcastle, Brando's favourite place.
I think we've summed up everything in
Around the
the
world.
two songs. Yeah, we've been around the world. So
Yes.
We've been everywhere tonight.
We have. And well, speaking of travelling, so I'll be doing a bit of travelling myself, as I said, over the weekend. I'll be travelling down to Canberra with the Terrigal All Abilities rugby team. So I look forward to maybe sharing some good news with you lads next week when I come back from my travels.
Sounds like a plan. Jamesy, what have you got for the rest of the week?
Probably the same old as like every other week.
Working and jerking.
Yeah, probably working, probably playing video games, all that good stuff.
Love that. And how about you, Brando, as we finish things off right now?
I'll probably stay at home. Be glad that I'm not the one driving all the way to Canberra.
Oh, yeah, he's a coasty boy.
And with that, we'll see you next week.
It's fine.